everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a dupe or dud video between the MarcJacobs Remarkable Foundation and the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. I feel like they could be a dupe of each other. I've tried this foundation before and the NYX foundation can really give you full coverage, and so as the MarcJacobs foundation, and I feel like they have the same texture, like a matte velvety texture. Now all we have to know is if they have the same wearability throughout the day. So if you want to know more about this dupe or dud experiment between these two foundations, keep on watching. On my right side, I'm going to put on the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. So let's just shake. I feel like for full coverage foundation, it is very essential to have a good prep on the skin. So I am going to use my Urban Decay B6 Vitamin Infused Complexion Prep Spray. And then for primer, I am going to use the Smashbox Photo Finish Pore Minimizing. I am going to use my buffing brush from Real Techniques. I'm gonna drop one. And then we'll start from that one drop. Second drop. I feel like I need to center my face. Oh, it sets really quick. I can still see the redness over here. I'm just gonna use my beauty blender to really two more drops and we're good. And last drop. I'm just gonna go near the center of my face because like I really want to conceal like my dark spots over here. So this is the bare side and this is the NYX side. You can tell that this side is looking really smooth. And it feels like you put like a mineral foundation on. It doesn't feel sticky. You have to work really fast with this because it sets really fast. I like the texture. It really feels smooth. I can still see like the dark spots on this side, but the redness is totally gone except for this because that's like really red. That's a pimple over there. But my pores doesn't look too big. I think the Smashbox primer really helped. And then on my left side, I am going to use the high-end foundation, the MarcJacobs Remarkable Foundation. The thing I hate about this, it doesn't have a dropper. It's just straight up like a round thing at the bottom. So I usually just put it at the back of my hand. Let's start with this amount. I'm just gonna use my beauty blender because I feel like the brush just eats this kind of foundation up. I feel like I'm already done with just that amount. My redness over here is already gone. Let's see, I'm just gonna stamp this on my... Oh wow! It covered the dark spots near my temple, and that's like the healed pimple that I had on my temple. I can still see that brown spot over there. I didn't color correct this part, so it looks just ashy, but whoa. When you put blush and like your concealer over there, that wouldn't show anymore. Oh my gosh, did you just see how much I put on the back of my hand? I just like swiped as a little and it covered my entire half of my face. So I've already finished my makeup and seriously, I really can't tell the difference between the two. So first impressions, I think that with application, the NYX foundation really sets quickly, so you have to work really fast with it compared to the MarcJacobs one. I noticed, and what I like about this two foundation is that whatever I put on top of them, they don't budge. Like, I actually use the Benefit Sunbeam. So usually when I put that highlighter on my regular foundation, the foundation tends to move. But with this 2 foundation, it just don't budge. It is just stuck on my face. So texture, when you freshly put the 2 foundation, they look velvety matte. But once it's set, it looks matte. And of course, when you powder it, it looks very matte. So don't skip on the highlighter. My pores are well hidden. It doesn't look cakey at all. They feel both really smooth on the skin and they don't feel heavy at all. Like with that amount of coverage, they don't feel heavy at all. So far so good. Let me just zoom you on how it looks like up close. So MarcJacobs side, NYX side. I can't really tell the difference. It is now 5:26 p.m. I'll just be heading off to have dinner and I'll update you guys after 3 hours. Bye. So it's 11:30 p.m. and this is the 6th hour. As you can tell from afar, my foundation still looks pretty good, but up close with the MarcJacobs side, it looks like I put powder foundation. It doesn't look like this creamy foundation. It looks powdery, especially on this side, around the side of my mouth. It's sort of breaking out here on the side of my cheeks. But as you can tell, my blush is still on, my highlight is still on, and it doesn't look oily at all. Like the side of my nose is still a-okay and there's no oil on my forehead. On this side, which is the NYX side, the foundation really clinged on like the side of my nose where it's really dry, and on the center of my nose where it's also really dry. And as you can tell, the oil is really coming through on the side of my nose and also on top of my brows and on my forehead. The rest of my face looks like it has 1 layer of that NYX foundation. It is very sheer. It is still super smooth, but the coverage is just not there anymore. And so that's how it looks like on the 6th hour. Now for my final review. So here are my final thoughts between the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation and the MarcJacobs Remarkable Foundation. When it comes to packaging, I think that the MarcJacobs one has obviously the slicker packaging with this frosted bottle. What I don't like about it is that it doesn't have a dropper and it just has a wand like this. Meanwhile, this NYX foundation has the dropper. You can control the amount of foundation that you want to put on. Also, it's easier to get the product out of the bottle because there's a rubber top here and you just squeeze it and then you get the product. Now coverage. With the MarcJacobs foundation, a little goes a long way. I don't think you can really shear this out because just a little amount can really cover. I feel like this can go from medium coverage to full coverage easily. With the next one, you can control the coverage. You can go from sheer to medium to full coverage depending on the drops that you put in. Now with finish. So for both foundation, I feel like when you put it on freshly on your face, they both have that velvety matte finish. After finishing my makeup though, I feel like the MarcJacobs one still gives that bounce on my skin, while the next one lays flat on my skin. So it really highlights the dry texture on my skin and even my pores because it just really masks on your skin. It really lays flat on your skin. Wearability, and this is where the big difference lies in between these two foundation. With the next one on the 3rd hour, you can see the oil coming through. You can see that it really clings on the dry spot on my skin. And the MarcJacobs one, it remains matte, and on the 3rd hour it's still looking fresh. And on the 6th hour, my MarcJacobs one still has that full coverage, although the finish went from like a velvety matte to like a powder finish, while the next one, the coverage went from full coverage to just a sheer coverage and the oil started to come through. cost. The MarcJacobs Remarkable Foundation retails for $69, but it has 0.75 fluid ounces. The NYX one retails for 18 Canadian dollars, but it's only 0.43 fluid ounce. And by this time, you already know that the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation could be a dupe for the MarcJacobs foundation, but it didn't pass the wearability test. It really has the same coverage and the same texture the first time I put this on side by side with my MarcJacobs, but on the 3rd hour it just didn't pull through. On a 6th hour you can really see the oil coming through and it's really breaking on the side of my face. And 4 out of my 4 friends really like the MarcJacobs side.
Right or left?
Itong nasa left.
Left? Ito. Bakit?
Parang ashy yung nalito.
Ashy talaga. Left. Left ka. Bakit? Why?
Ito matte. Kasi yung isa parang medyo may
oily na,
konting
no?
shine pa ng konti. Mas gusto ko natural lang dating na isa.
And nobody voted for the NYX side. So unfortunately, this is definitely a dud. So that ends my dupe or dud video for the MarcJacobs versus the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. I hope you guys learned something from it. If you like this kinds of video, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!